guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing swatches with you from the brand Lachat. If you didn't know, Lachat came into my life in 2017 and I've swatched a couple collections and then I've bought a lot more. So I've actually thoroughly enjoyed the brand Lachat. And the first person I heard talk about them was Miss Holly Berry's here on YouTube, and it's just made me go down this dark hole of wanting all things Lachat. I was fortunate enough this time that they reached out to me to swatch their spring 2018 collection. This is their English Rose collection and it does go on sale March 16th. And what I have is their perfect match sets, and so that comes with both a lacquer as well as a gel in the matching shade. So I have two kind of each shade. I'm going to show you the lacquers on my first and middle finger, and then the gels on my ring and pinky finger, so you can see the color comparisons, the formula comparisons, how they look together, all of that good stuff, as opposed to doing two completely separate manicures. Each set will retail for $16.67, but if you want just the lacquer itself, it will retail for just $3.25. So these are amazing polishes with a fantastic price. In the description box below, I will link the Lachat site as well as their Instagram page, and I will also link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of this collection. So today I do have the 6-piece collection in both the gel and the lacquer formula. 12 polishes but 6 manicures, and let's go ahead and get started. So first today we have Royal Tea, and this is a light putty nude, but it does lean a little bit darker than a putty. So today I do have the lacquer formula of it as well as the gel formula, so I'm going to show you both at the same time. Here's our first coat of Royal Tea, and this goes on really opaque here on this first coat. I do have a couple of bald spots, so I am going to go in for a second coat. But these have great formulas, easy to use, easy to work with. The gel is obviously, because it's a gel, a little bit thicker than the lacquer is, but it stays right where you put it and it is very easy to use. So here's our second coat, and this does cover completely in 2 coats in both the gel and the lacquer formula. These also dry extremely glossy and did not stain my nails. And the gel, I did use an LED lamp and I cured it for 60 seconds between swatches. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have French Vanilla, and this is another putty nude. This one does have a little bit more of a yellow tone to it, whereas Royal Tea actually had a little bit more of a purple tone to it, so you can see the difference there in the two. And then once again, I do have the lacquer formula as well as the gel formula, so I'm going to show them side by side to see how the formulas compare as well as if the polish colors are the same. Here's our first coat of French Vanilla, and this is a lot like Royal Tea in shade and in formula. It is pretty opaque here on this first coat, but a little bit patchy, so I am going to go in for a second coat. And despite what it may look like on camera, I am working in very thin coats here. Well, not very thin, but thin enough. So here's our second coat, and for both the gel and the lacquer, this does cover completely in 2 coats. These also dry very glossy on their own, though if you want them to last for any length of time, I would recommend a glossy top coat. I can get about a week of wear with a Lachat lacquer. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Tea Party, and this is a very original shade to me. It's somewhere in the middle of an orange sickle and a rose. I can't describe it any other way. So I do have, once again, the lacquer version as well as the gel version, so I am going to show you both. Here's our first coat of Tea Party. Again, this goes on really nice, really opaque here on this first coat, just a couple of patchy spots, so a second coat is needed. The gel formula is a little bit thicker than the lacquer formula, but it stays right where you put it. I didn't have any issues with the gels running or pooling, nor with the lacquers, but I feel like gels in themselves do tend to kind of go bald on the top, so that's why I wanted to mention that one. So here's our second coat, and this does cover completely in 2 coats, again for both the gel and the lacquer. These do both also dry very glossy, again very easy to use. No staining for this one either. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Chamomile, and this is a beautiful dusty yellow cream. And once again, I have both the lacquer and the gel going on today for you. Here's our first coat of Chamomile. And for being such a light yellow, this is very opaque here on this first coat. Again, just a couple patchy spots, so I am going to go in for a second coat. And I did want to note with this one, it is probably the most noticeable difference between the gel and the lacquer shades. The gel shade is a little bit more pastel, and the lacquer shade is a little bit more sunflower yellow. These do both cover completely in 2 coats here though. Again, no running or pooling or staining or anything like that, just very easy to use. They both also, again, dry very glossy on their own, but if you want them to last a little bit longer, a top coat and a base coat are recommended, so there's 2 coats. Next up we have Cucumber Mint, and this in person looks exactly how you would think it would with the name Cucumber Mint. It is a light minty cucumber green. And then once again, I do have both the lacquer and the gel to share with you. Here's our first coat of Cucumber Mint. Just like everything else in this collection, this has a great, easy to work with, beginner-friendly formula. It goes on smooth like butter. No staining, no running, no pooling, anything like that. And most of these colors are pretty spot on between the gel and the lacquer. So here's our second coat, and this one does cover completely in 2 coats. Again, this one dries decently glossy on its own. I will say the gel in this one has like a hint more of a baby blue than the lacquer, but it's not even a noticeable difference if you're searching for that color. So there's 2 coats. And then lastly for today we have Violet Rose, and this is a nice light lavender purple cream. And then for the last time we have the lacquer and the gel, so I am just going to show them side by side today in the video so you can see what the formulas are like compared to each other and if the colors match each other as well. Here's our first coat of Violet Rose. Once again, pretty opaque here on this first coat. I do have a little bit of patchiness going on, so I am going to go in for a second coat. But these do cover really, really well all on their own in just 2 coats. The formulas are the same across the board, smooth, easy to work with, no running or pulling. So here is our second coat, and this does cover completely in 2 coats. I will say the lacquer leans more lavender and the gel leans more lilac. So the gel has a little bit more pink in it as opposed to the lacquer having a little bit more purple. So there's 2 coats. I am thoroughly in love with these. They're pastels, they're 2 coaters, they have amazing formulas. Like, these are so beautiful, so I'm just going to talk about a couple of them. The first favorite I wanted to talk about is Royal Tea. This is such a nice, beautiful neutral shade, which is kind of something that I'm looking forward to for the summertime. I really, really enjoy wearing a nice neutral color, especially during the spring, so I really, really enjoy this one. The next one is Tea Party. It's a nice, dusty, rosy, neutrally orangey almost shade. I really, really, really like this. It's a completely original shade in my collection, and it has a beautiful finish on it, so I really, really enjoy this one. And then the last one that I wanted to point out is Chamomile. You know I love a yellow polish, and spring coming up, this is just like so seasonally appropriate, and I could see myself wearing this all spring if I can. I really like this. I really like the whole collection. I have loved everything that I've seen from Lachat, so I really highly recommend the brand. For $3.25 a bottle, you can't really beat that. And guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this collection. Let me know if you plan on picking it up or anything from them up. Let me know what your favorite was from today's video. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time. Bye.